Yippee! Happy full moon, everybody. So excited to have Ashala again. And Norma Stein, of course, is here as well. When the three of us get together, it's like this vibrational.
Oh.
Yeah, it's super fun. So it makes it really exciting. It's like getting like a little kid getting to go into the sandbox with their friends. And just so excited to get in there and play and have some fun. So we're really grateful you all took some time to be here today, and we're very excited for this session. We do not plan these. These are off the cuff, whatever comes through to each of us, and then we just share. So it's always a really beautiful message, and I like it. It's one of my favorite things to do. Ashala, you want to share how you're doing today?
Thank you. It's so wonderful to be here. And yeah, I'm actually at home today. It's technically my day off. So I was like, well, I could drive half an hour into the office, or I could just be in the comfort of my own home and meet up with you. So my lighting is all different and everything. But wow, what like I'm on the edge of a beautiful lake right now for my winter retreat, which is coming to an end in the next month. And the moon across this gorgeous Libra full moon across the lake last night was so extraordinary. Wow. So powerful. You know, and these conversations around the coronal mass ejections, the solar flares, the eclipse of, you know, the lunar eclipse, and then the upcoming solar eclipse in another week or so. Just such a powerful time. So I'm honored. I really have been feeling the medicine these last few days, and some of it came through in my soul sampler yesterday. So I'm stoked to see where we're going to go today and what else we're going to be able to bring into alignment to support our evolution at this time. Thanks Beautiful. For having me on.
Yeah, no, we're grateful you're here. Norma Stein, how would you like to introduce yourself today? What's going on for you?
Well, you know, it's these full moons, man. They bring so many different levels of insight, and you know, it gives you a chance and opportunity up to that point to recognize and see things that you see that may not be working. To just as a focal point where we are in ourselves, much less whatever's going on outside of us. Yet we utilize that. I utilize it in a way to recognize the things that I need to shift within me, to recognize, you know, my environment, the individuals that are in that environment, anything else that is presenting itself in my environment is telling me something. Am I aware enough to be able to realize or recognize what that may be in resonance of what my higher self is helping me to see that I might not be able to be picking up within me, so that way it's reflective state of forward motion of understanding to what to release and prepare for new beginnings, because every day is a new day. Every day presents you with a new perspective given what's going on. And you know, for me, it's been quite an adventure, especially these last few days, these last few nights, where it feels that my higher self, my soul, so to speak, seems as though it's kind of what would you say, whipping my human self into more of a tangible understanding of, you know, bringing that flow where I can, you know, propel more in my understanding of self and what this realm actually fully signifies as I keep continuing in my self-exploration journey within me, to really understand more about what's going on inside of me. So other than that, you know, I'm enjoying every moment of it, just to be given the chance to know that every day that I get to wake up and have this experience is a blessed one. So how about you, T?
Yeah, this has been a really big week. You know, as somebody that's run businesses and we're rebirthing something new at the moment, it's been this, what do we need to let go of? What do we need to purge, so to speak? And it's almost like you don't have a choice, because every time I tried to step into creation mode, like, oh, but this is, and it was like, nee, not yet. Wait, this is purge time. So I've really been embracing the lunar cycle lately. And Yes, I'm getting a zap for that. Yes, yes. Embracing that lunar cycle and following that, because if we actually all paid more attention to that, where's the moon at, how does that affect me, then it's easier to understand what's going on for you energetically,
Mhm.
emotionally sometimes, and just to accept and allow. And so we just kept putting things into a container, writing it out on a sheet, revisiting it, mulling
Mhm.
it over, pulling stuff out, and just going, okay, it's starting, we can see, but next week being this week, we'll really set some intentions, because now we can. Now it's
Mhm.
that figure it out stage. In my opinion, that's for us. So I'd
Mhm.
love to hear from those in the chat. Where are you at? What's going on for you? And
Mhm.
what does spirit want to share about that, about following the lunar? Yeah.
Yeah, lovely. Thank you. I've got a different deck with me here, the Palladini deck, but it's
Awesome.
still a tarot deck, and I love working with it. It's a bit more like my home deck.
Beautiful. Getting
um,
cozy today.
Getting
Right.
cozy. Yeah. So just clearing the cards, and then I'll lay out a little spread to see what spirit wants us to be aware of around working with the lunar cycles at this time, especially. So here's us clearing, moving through, like away from troubled water. So it's a bit of a, it's almost like the boat, the vessel that carries us through troubled times. It gives us something to sort of, I want to say, like connect with in terms of a system to work within. When all else fails, it's like go to the systems that have been around for literally ever, like these long-standing cyclical systems that have wisdom, ancient wisdom associated with them, and they can be very supportive to us at this time. So somehow even having conversations about what does it mean to have a lunar eclipse at full moon in the sign of Libra? Well, what has happened in the past throughout the eons when that's happened? And we can refer to that, give ourselves that reference point, and then sort of use that information to support what we're going through right now. And the next card, that's basically, because this is where we're at, this is what we're doing. We are moving out of troubled water using the information of that system to guide us. And what do we need to know about working with it? Well, it is about keeping the energies moving. So we tend to, in these times, whenever there's a lot going on, a lot of chaos, we tend to lock down, right? We were put in the lockdown, but a lot of the kind of lockdown that happens to us, as Norma was referring to, is something that we do to ourselves. It's a way that we start to go like just freeze and stop evolving. It's kind of like almost like I got to hang on tight and don't change anything. Don't like let the flow move through me. Just try to block the flow, try to stop the flow. And they're saying when we work with the cycles of the moon, it's like, guess what? You're going to have another opportunity to release next month. You don't have to hang on forever and ever and ever. It's like you're going to get another full moon in Libra next year. You don't have to get it right this second. You can have that ebb and flow. So it keeps the energy, 3 of Wands, stirring the pot creatively, energetically, continuing to keep the energy flowing. When we have, if you think about the number 2, which is duality and polarity, it's an either or. It's like I'm either going forward or I'm going backward. The number 3 is the energy of synergy. So it has that cyclical feeling. It begins the feeling of a cycle. And, we can say, oh, I'm going around in circles, but we're actually not, because we're continuing to evolve. Even though we're spiraling, we're evolving. So to me, I'm going to pull one more card around this. Yeah, this is, well, I'll pull 3 more and do the full focused answer spread. This is the recent past. so many things coming into natural conclusion, the end of so many cycles. We've talked about this before, where we've got like precession of the equinox, we've got cosmic intergalactic cycles, we've got earthly cycles, we've got human cycles, we've got cycles within cycles within cycles. And every time we have a full moon, especially associated with one particular aspect, it's like the completion of something. We come to the fullest point, the end of the cycle, and then something gets released. So here we are. Oh, look at this. Another number 3. It's the 3 of us.
Right?
It's the triple goddess, 3 of cups. It's
Beautiful.
also a time where full moons historically have been when people went out. You know, if you think about before electric lights, if you wanted to visit friends and go out in the evening time, full moon was the time to do it, right? Because it was like the sky was lit up and everything was bright. So there's a feeling also about it's an external time of celebration and play. Okay, so then the death card, which is we have this fullness energy, and then we go back into sort of the quiet inner space, into the darkness again, to rebirth something, to create something new. Just as you were saying, Tanya, you know, like it's the full moon is the time to kind of finish the last cycle energy. And then we have a couple of weeks and we begin anew with the next new moon. I want to say something about the next new moon because we've kind of agreed that we're going to be meeting on the full moons. But this next new moon, the new moon in Aries, is to me the most powerful new moon of the year. It's coming up in a couple of weeks. We might even want to do something then because it's a real goodie. And traditionally, in a lot of different Vedic cultures, this particular new moon, the new moon in Aries every spring, is when the greatest visioning of the whole year happens. It's when the greatest kind of tuning in and visioning your goals and dreams. You know, when we do our classic vision boards, this is the time of year that they would do that. Beautiful. So this new moon coming up in 2 weeks, it's almost like the full moon in Libra is, I see the full moon in Libra also about releasing contracts, because Libra is the sign of the scales of justice. It's also karmic cycles, karmic contracts, relational contracts, contracts and oaths that we've been adhering to within ourselves that we're maybe not even aware of. So full moon in Libra, we release the past contracts. And then the new moon in Aries in 2 weeks, we get to reimagine, revision, revise the contracts and have a whole new year ahead of us to build that. So that's cool.
We do have a show. We have a show on April 8th, which is
we
do. And the new moon.
Yeah, it's pretty close, right? It is actually, is it right exactly around the new moon? Okay, well, there we go. This is going to be the biggie one then. I have a lot to say about the eclipse, and I feel like let's save it for then. But, you know, just putting that on to, the new moon in Aries plus the eclipse. Wow, just next level.
Absolutely. No, and that was beautiful. So that's the 6 of Swords, right? That was the first one?
6 of Swords with the first one. Yep.
That's the exact card I got yesterday. As this is right, we're moving through.
Yeah. And it's so nice to have, you know, see if I can find it again. It's really nice to have that boat. It's funny because it's a boat and it's filled with swords. Why? Yeah. And somebody said to me, the swords are swords of clarity. It's a communication card. It's a clarifying communication card. Somebody told me a story years ago that the rumor is that the boat was leaky and they put the swords in it to plug the leaks. So you could say in a way that like, this is a boat of refuge, and it's through clear understanding that we have a vessel that can take us through the troubled water.
Yes.
So even if it sort of feels like a leaky boat, it's like what we understand, those swords of clarity actually are there to help support us going through this time.
Beautiful.
So, yeah.
Beautiful. Norma, you're wiggling. I can see you wiggling.
Well, it's just profound. I love it. I love it when we get together because the synchronicities are just so profound to me, because these last couple of days, I've been looking at, as the above, so below, the as within, so without. And we look at those, and it's the triangles that come together, and you get the as above, so below that creates the 6-pointed star of David. And but as within, so without, the triangles hit at a point. But it's one of those that 3 is so significant for me right now.
Yeah. We just had 2 3s in that little 5-card spread. Like, wow.
And then on top of that, the first card you pulled was a 6.
6.
So it was one of those that, as I've been sitting here, it was like, this is just so profound, because the deeper and deeper I get into understanding this, the more profound it reveals itself to me, to understand that when you look at this, the 3s are that Trinity you speak about. And that Trinity is of a 1 and then a 2. And that 1 and 2 creates the 3. But understanding that as we look at them as lines like this, that when we see them as lines and we bring them together as lines, you got the 3 in the center is you, and then you have the 2 on the side of the center of the 3 that are the pillars. That holds this Trinity together, that helps this Trinity have that harmony, that flow, once we're able to get ourselves out of the way. But when you go even to a deeper, it's like yesterday, it was, it takes a 3-dimensional world concept, manifestation, mirroring, to help us understand our 6 degrees, which is as above, so below, as within, so without, life journey, by combining those 2 to take us to a 9-degree full, whole, complete, unifying understanding of what all this life is truly about, yet still takes us to a level of the 12th level, which takes us right back to what? 3. Then, as I was putting all these 3s together from that center, from the as within, so without, as above, so below, guess what it was that it formed the shape of? A 4-leaf clover.
Beautiful.
So it's significant. It's profound.
So profound.
And I just keep having fun with this, and I just keep going deeper and deeper and deeper.
Well, and we had that 9. That 9. So I see 9 as a synthesis number. It is the completion of the cycle. It's the gathering together of the 3 3s.
Yes.
And this is in the recent past, this is energetic. And it is a little bit like the next step is we kind of stumble down the 10 of Wands, which is exhaustion. And then we begin with the 1 again. So, we're not quite, it's sort of like we're going to need to put down the burdens at some point. And I'm wondering about that in this next 2-week period. I really got, when I did my soul sampler yesterday, that there's a lot of exhaustion. These last several full moons, I don't know about you all, but historically around the full moon, I can't sleep. I'm up half the night. It's like the light's shining in my window. I feel really activated. These last, I want to say even a year or more, I've been sleeping so much around the full moon. I've just been like, just seems so tired, and even sleeping, like want a nap in the daytime and stuff. And what that is telling me is that we are actually, a lot of the work is happening internally now. Like it's almost like in our sleep time, we're completing that cycle. In the between the realms, in the dream time, we're finishing and wrapping up. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And yesterday I went down to the beach. I do napidations down there, and yesterday I didn't travel or anything, but I could see was being shown all these codes coming into me. And I know the sun is a very big part of my soul and to be in alignment with it, but it kept showing me, all right, yeah, you got the codes. You're good. So it's this, we can't see it, so therefore, it's one of those, you got to believe and then you'll see, right? And we've been speaking about this pretty regularly lately, like quit focusing on what you can only see, because there's so much more to this. There's so much more within. There's so much more above, right? So again, combining those and accepting and allowing, like there's nothing that everyone's focused on, I need to do. And it's like, no, just be and allow things to flow through you. We have quite a few people with anxiety right now and struggling with that anxiety. And we've always said, move through it, allow the feeling to happen, be the observer. Maybe the cards, you could pull a card on that, because I think that'd be really fun for some people that are watching.
Let's do that. I know that I'll just give you a little personal story while I'm shuffling here, that we, like, for example, I saw in the soul sampler yesterday that there was going to be some real identity, I want to say, reforming within. And that when we go through that, sort of like an animal molting, right? It's sort of like a bird molting its feathers or something. We're so vulnerable in that time. It's like it's almost like we lose our bearings. Like, who am I? What am I? Where am I? What am I? Who am I? It's very, very scary. And if you feel like this is permanent, there's something about permanence and impermanence. When we go into, oh no, this is terrifying. People are having all these ascension symptoms, all these different effects of how fast the evolution's happening, the frequencies of these solar events and so on. And it's like, if we stop and go, so yesterday, I did the soul sampler, filmed it the day before, knew this was coming, knew the full moon was coming, knew the exhaustion was coming. But yesterday I woke up and I was just like, oh my gosh, I don't even know where, like, nothing makes sense right now. Like, I'm so just lost. My daughter as well. We were sharing, we were like, oh yeah, right. Okay, here we go. And we just were like, okay, surrender that. Like, just let that be. Let that be. If we would have got anxious about it, we could have really gone down. Like, it's super scary when you feel that way and you can't put your finger on it, and you can't, you just basically do your things. We went for the walk. We made some good food. You do your stuff, right? You just do your practices and you just breathe through it and go, it's okay. It's okay to be in a day of uncertainty, we can prevent it going into full-blown anxiety by trusting that almost always after one of those days comes revelatory days of beautiful activation. So that's where you're talking about believe it and you'll see it.
Yeah.
And so many of us get into one of those nodes, and where it's happening to all of us. I talk to my clients, it's happening to everyone, and it is scary as all get out. When you get into one of those nodes, if you hang on and start building a story around it, like, I'm going down, that's really unfortunate and so understandable. But so the waiting feels like a really important part of it, and not immediately starting to try to overcorrect. All that time I've been shuffling. Let's see what the cards say. First card, it's about mastermind. It's about having the masterfulness isn't about solving and correcting. It's about waiting. It's about holding space and sitting in the discomfort. It's not about fixing. It's about having the maturity and the discernment to say, this shall pass, and I don't need to make a big story about it. Something is recalibrating inside of me, and I need to just wait through the process. Next card, because the natural progress that our soul is in, something is about to birth through us, right? So it's literally saying, even though he's a thinking card, he's a thinker, he's saying, stop thinking, just hold space, let something birth. So that's the first part about anxiety. Past is, this is where we're just kind of going along, rocking it. Things are going good. So have you ever noticed that anxiety often takes us off guard? Right? It's like, what? What's going on? Where did that come from? Present, the Empress. They're saying anxiety is often related to our inner child. Of course, it relates to our traumas of origin, which we all have lots of, and inherited traumas, which we have tons of. And what wants to happen when we're in that state is just like a good, nurturing, mothering energy where when, children get upset for a whole myriad of reasons that often don't even really make sense, right? They're just suddenly upset, having a tantrum, having a freak out. And the good nurturing energy creates boundaries and space so that they don't hurt themselves. It also just waits it out with them and nurtures and loves them through that. So it's like we're coming in as our own nurturing, mothering kind of energy to the anxiety and being very, very compassionate and sweet. This is the final card, Knight of Cups. It's a cry for love.
Yeah.
Anxiety is a cry for love.
And acceptance of self.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a cry for love. And what do we try to do? We try to solve it. What made me like that? Oh, it must have been that. Oh, that person said that, did that. Oh, it's that. Or, oh, I stood under the EMF tower. That's what did it. Or I this or that or whatever. And, it can be a whole variety of things that then are triggering old patterns, latent programming, you name it. It's like, it's just choose from a multitude of things that could be causing it. It's almost like instead of trying to go and fix the causes, obviously we're working on resolutions and solutions to the larger systemic issues on our planet. It's not about just going into denial and ignoring things, but when you're in that state, you're not going to be able to fix the world or probably even yourself. So what wants to be applied is that nurturing, almost like unconditional loving, mothering, as you say, Tanya, acceptance and patience and wait for tomorrow.
Yeah, we've all been so driven to have to, find a solution, fix it, right? And so really accepting that, okay, I don't know why I feel this way right now, but I'm just going to allow this energy to go through me. Whatever needs to be shown, please show me. Whatever needs to be released, please release. Just speaking with your body, connecting more with your body. And so that you're trying to suppress it or deny it. Because if you deny it and shove it down, it's I keep getting, it's going to rear its ugly head.
Well, and I just sort of closed the deck and opened it to these two cards, the Hierophant and the Two of Cups. So what that shows me is this is not about, don't take action to work with the physical, mental, spiritual, and emotional bodies and get professional support in doing that.
Yeah.
This is don't rush out in that state to try to fix it when you're in that triggered, anxious state. Taking a longer approach to form relationships with supportive, professional allies. So if it is, say, a naturopathic doctor or a, holistic medicine practitioner or someone that can do all different types of testing to find out what's going on metabolically for a person, working with spiritual healers that you resonate with, working with, trauma healers and counselors that you resonate with. It's not about, don't take a larger systemic approach with professional support, but you're not going to fix everything in that moment by running towards something like that. So as a larger approach with a longer term goal in mind, to continue to have a plan of how you're going to do this, because this kind of stuff, functional medicine and naturopathic medicine and counseling and therapeutic healing, these are not fast fixes. These are like, you commit to a year or two of learning about your body, mind, and soul, and working in the healing realm with professional support. That, again, it's not a one size fits all. You're gonna like look around and choose supportive professional guidance and help that resonates with you, that feels good to you.
Yeah.
And that becomes then your long-term kind of support for your inner child. It becomes the long-term plan. But again, it's not, we want things in the moment of crises, we just want to fix it. What do I do? Panic, try to fix. So in that moment, we're nurturing, caring, being patient, and waiting for the storm to pass. And then we're creating a larger, longer term program is what I'm getting.
Yeah, absolutely. And we were talking about threes, and as we're talking about this, I keep getting, is it yours? Because so many people are more intuition, are now picking up on other energies. It could be another lifetime. It could be inner child work, and it could be collective. It could even be those that are around you. Because as we get tuned in and we don't understand that we're picking this up, it's like you're tuning in more and more, and therefore you're picking up more and more. So discernment with that and asking. And I swear, one of the best, and it's that whole don't react, wait and respond, even with self, so that we're not in that reaction mode. And it's more damaging to us, like, oh, why is this happening again? And now you're getting a little angry about it. Now you're locking that in. And so it's important to just let it flow like a river. A river goes around a rock. All right, well, we're just going to let that be right now. And what can I focus on that will help me move through this, whether that be grounding or just claiming it? What am I grateful for right now can help shift an energy. And so whatever tools in your toolbox are working for you, getting more rest, allow yourself more rest. I've been sleeping great and I still napping. Like you said, Ashala, it's like, all right. I'm like, I don't remember sleeping this much when I wasn't like actively ski touring or something really big going on physically. That. So it's just been, all right, I accept and allow. And it's just being really kind to yourself and to others, because we really don't know what other people are going through either. Yeah.
Clarity.
Yeah.
Everything that both of you are speaking to in the fullness of what we are speaking to here to begin with, having that love, having that patience, having that acceptance, being in that observable mode. When we just sit, we just allow. And even though there are times it feels so uncomfortable, but one thing I realized about myself was when I got to that place where I was like, okay, I'm done. I surrender. I don't know what I'm doing here. Please show me what you're capable of, because I'm not doing any good at this. But as I was able to do that and continue to promote that, because I knew that somewhere along the line, I would begin to receive information that I might not consider, or because I'm in that anxious place, or because I'm in that place of not knowing what next step to take. It would, the more I became quieter with self, the more I sat with self, the more I just observed and just said, okay, things are what they are as far as where I'm concerned. I see myself fully for who I am. I accept every bit of it, because I can't change what I did, who I was, or anything as that. So I accept it for I must understand that I only could go with what I had at the time. As that went along, clarity became more of that information that I was receiving, because clarity also relates to clairs. So as we're allowing ourselves to have that clarity, our clairs pick up, our clairvoyance, clairaudience, in the many other ones that we have to utilize in this form, in this avatar. And as we continue on, as soon as you pulled the second card, the first thing I saw was wound. So everything is a wound. It's about, what are you rebirthing? To understand that when we go within to sit with self, to have that love, that nurture, that acceptance, we're giving ourselves that love, because what we're doing is we're going back inside the wound to remember who we are, and that is love. But we must be in there to feel that hug, that safety, that net of just the motherly love. And that's where we become that for ourselves, because we remember who we are.
Yes.
So as that takes place, it transpires you, it transmutes a lot of what you feel about yourself, which most of the time, given who we were and what was going on, doesn't have the truth to it that we put to it at the time that things were happening. So it helps us to see from that broader perspective that I love every bit of who I am, regardless of the choices that I made, as long as I know I never crossed a boundary that, harmed another to that level and degree that guilt will reside with me forever. Words, words, what's that? How's that saying? Sticks and stones may break my bones, but words will never hurt me. But as we've gone along, we understand that words also spells that we cast upon ourselves first, because once we speak them, we do it to ourselves first. So as we go along, understand that everything's about the love you are, because it just is. It is what created this to begin with. The love of wanting to understand who we are by reflecting ourselves outside of it, so we could see. And then when we saw, it was one of those that's like, oh, there's imperfections there. But the thing about it is that without that, we wouldn't have the contrast of understanding that that's how we make choices. To understand that other perspective of us is just that perspective, and it can stay in that balance. So clarity is hugely profound in what it shows us, as long as we can sit with and allow it just to, come to us, because it will. Because if you want it enough, because you're tired of where you are, you're tired of feeling the way that you're feeling, it will come through.
Yeah.
Go, release.
Yeah. Beautiful. Beautiful.
Yeah. And definitely not beating ourselves up for it, because that's the heart. We're hardest on ourselves.
We are.
Yeah. And so what can you do to nurture yourself through this time? Can you take a bath? Can you get out in nature? Because nature always nurtures. We went to Kennedy Falls on Saturday and we did a 5-hour tour. No cell service. So it was, right? It was just my mom's little dog that got really muddy. Oops. But it was just really beautiful to be out in nature. And you know what? That's my reality for that time. And I'm just really present. And it's an active meditation. And we visited an old cedar tree, and you get to listen to the falls. And falls are always so cleansing. Water's always so cleansing.
Sure, we are.
Yeah. And what do we need to let go of? And so it's just a really beautiful way of processing, if you can get outside and do that, or even just sit at the beach or sit with a tree, whatever you have in your capacity right now. Just go sit in the grass and just allow that connection to nature to nurture you. And if you can get some sun on your face, that vitamin D is, for me, it's a non-negotiable.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. You've both said so many interesting things to me, like when you were speaking, Tanja, about is what's mine and what's not mine. And it always brings me to that practice of Ho'oponopono, which is about anything that comes into my realm is somehow partially mine, but it's also the other. So it's like this shared reality. It's like a shared, which again, there's the three, yours, mine, and the neutral third experience. And in the Ho'oponopono practice, you basically accept and honor everything that comes into your awareness with this unconditional love. And it's almost like, as I've been working in my physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual body and getting more and more highly keyed with the type of work that I do, I'm realizing that, I used to think I had to fix something that was wrong with me in my body or in my mind or in my psyche. And now I'm just working around or celebrating the ability to care for my vessel, which includes my mental, physical, emotional, and spiritual bodies, so that they become this transmuter of everything that's around me. Like, so that I can do that Ho'oponopono. So instead of trying to fix something's wrong with my personal body, I'm creating health, vibrance, vitality, strength, resonant frequency in my whole being, so that I can continue to transmute and turn into love a lot of what is being processed through our world right now. So there's a really big difference, as you were saying, Tanya, between thinking there's something wrong with me and I got to fix it. Like, as opposed to, I'm clearly moving a lot of energy and I get to care for myself and make it so that I don't hurt myself as I continue to expand and move more and more energy. Because I heard once that 30%, when we go, something's wrong with me, I got to fix me, 30% of our energy automatically is pulled away into the shame and the doubt and the self-judgment. And that 30% is the 30% that we could be sharing with others, So it's like we're just in this perpetual cycle of, I'm broken. And then I got to try to climb up to the edge of the hole. We never get out of the hole because it's like every time something goes wrong, I'm broken. So this idea that we start by saying, I'm not broken, there's nothing wrong with me. I am, for whatever reason, spirit contract, personal soul evolutionary journey, I'm surrounded in a Ho'oponopono way with all of this information that's moving through me all the time. The trails in the sky, the 5G Wi-Fi, the this, the that, the controllers, it's all part of this reality that I've chosen to come here and work with and transmute through. And in doing that, my body, mind, and spirit go through a lot. And I want to love them and care for them and allow them to be nurtured so that they can continue to do what they came here to do. So for me, it's that fine line of it isn't mine or it isn't theirs. It just is. Yeah.
Yes, it just is. I say that all the time, and no judgment on it. So, and it just is. When people look at me and say, but what about this? I'm like, you can just look at it as it just is. And me giving my attention to it is just giving more energy to it. So therefore, I'm going to choose where my energy is focused. And I choose my energy to be focused on, how can I feel? How can we share this information in such a way that it's beneficial for the most people possible, to get them to see that they've got the power within them.
Yes.
We are. Look how far we've good. We're at an amazing time through this ascension expansion, to be able to manage more. And I feel like we've been tested the last few years. How much can you handle? How will you react? Why are you giving your power away to that? We slowly, we don't need that. I don't need this. But this is important. So getting, what are your core values? What is most important for yourself? And then comparing things to those core values, so that you're not allowing yourself to be easily swayed or sidetracked. It's really taking a deep breath before you might need to put some more boundaries up, and boundaries as in, oh, I'm sorry, I won't be able to make it to that event. You know right away how you respond to something, whether or not you should be going, instead of saying, oh, well, let me see, I'm kind of busy, but I'll try and get by. Don't be wishy-washy. Claim your sovereignty within self first, and then you will see it shift your outer world. Yeah.
You know, probably the most profound word that, you know, I heard you speak to, Ashala, was the word through. And when we really profoundly understand that, we're here in this world and we're going through it. And what that means is that how you define that is up to you individually, determining what your belief system is, how you feel about yourself, and understanding that we are surrounded by the very thing that created us in the first place. And that's elements. And those elements move with us as we move through these elements, the elements that we are. And as we go within, we find that the greatest stability we have is within. And what we do is understand that going through this world, because we're here expressing, experiencing, creating, because we're going through the very thing that makes this world up. And it's deeply profound when you come to understand that when you look at the word going through, it's like you're walking within, like you're actually already being within a womb, so to speak, because when you feel the wind upon your skin, you're being embraced by that very element. When you place your hand upon a rock, you're being close and being nestled and feeling that very element. When you're close to a fire, it's engulfing in its own right, but you're with that element because you are that element. So when you begin to look at things from a visual perspective from within, that I am loved, I'm being embraced in this realm of the physicality, I may not be able to see it in the form that I think it should be, but it's presenting itself to me all the time as to what it is. And it's me. It's me moving through it. It's me being a part of it, knowing that I'm just as much a part of it as it is me. And that's such a profound thing that certain things will stand out to me that either you or Tanya may say, especially with yesterday with Tanya with the spider web thing. Man, I took off like there was no tomorrow with that one. Let me tell you, I was like, oh yes, not if we could just, and it's like, no, because it's like this is where I am, because I see the synchronisticness in that, because I understand the elements so much, because I am those elements. I understand the workings of how things come to be, because I am that. I am nothing because I am everything. Nothing. And because I'm embracing that so much, just the clarity of the understanding of the workings of it all just becomes so much more clear. And I'm having so much fun with this. And so I just wanted to put that out there to get you, to help y'all understand you're here in this. You're not of it. You are it. And when you really embrace that, when people really can embrace that about themselves, to know that you are a part of this because you are it, you will move through and utilize that energy in ways where your creativeness will become that much more explorative, that much more vast, that much more profound and beautiful, because you become the love that you are. Reason why this all exists.
Beautifully said.
Beautifully said. Thank you, Mama.
Yeah. Ashala, do you have some cards around that? I saw you playing with the cards.
You did.
I got
Well,
you.
just to segue into what I'm seeing here, I really feel, coming back to the moon, the full moon in Libra, I really feel that a big part of what this is about as well is Libra is about choices. It's the scales. It's this yes, no, good, bad, right, wrong. It's the whole idea of coming into, again, going from the 2 into the 3. There's the 2 options, and the third thing is the choice. When we make a decision, we make a choice. Now, I'm just going to give a little preemptive tidbit about all the eclipses, because I'm so excited about talking lots and sharing lots about the eclipses. But one thing that I see the eclipses, all the eclipses representing, think about what it is. What is an eclipse? It's basically where something is darkened for a temporary, and then the light comes. So you go through a darkening and then returning the light. It's like a scene change. It's like the curtains coming down between scenes. So it's like the curtain call. Down comes the curtain. Next scene. So every one of these eclipses, we just had the lunar eclipse last night. It's probably still in process right now. So the scene change of full moon in Libra, the decisions, our past decisions. We sat, that's why this full moon has given us a little bit of a uncomfortable, like, whoa, I'm going through an identity crisis. Something about me is changing. I'm molting my feathers. I don't know who I'm going to be yet, or I don't know exactly what this is going to look like, but I'm not who I used to be. And that's a very strange, uncomfortable feeling. And then on top of that, the whole scene darkens. It's like the lights go down or the curtains close. And then when they open, it's a renewal. It's a whole new, like a reset on our choices. What motivates our choices? So this could go back even thousands of years. There's cycles within cycles within cycles. And all of these eclipses and the big solar eclipse, all these things lining up the way they have been, these actions astrologically and astronomically have been happening for eons. But the kind of wild circulation of a lot of big actions all around a little node, that is relatively rare. And that's what we've been going through for the last, few decades, really. But poignantly in the last few years, and will probably continue for another decade or so. So we're just in this phenomenal node where there's curtain calls and scene changes, and it's like, and another one, and now another one, and another reset, and another reset, and another reset. So yeah, it's very disorienting, but it's also super exciting, because no sooner has the curtain gone down. So this whole, black and white, polarized, right, wrong, good, bad. We used to make decisions in a very polarized way, in a very rational, logical, mind-oriented way, which is there's a right way and there's a wrong way. There's no third path. There's no like right and wrong way to do things, right? This whole value system around good, bad, right, wrong, polarization, and making choices from that value system, that's what just went closed. That's the curtain came down on that. And when the curtain's coming up right now, we are going into a whole new phase, which is another 3, again, 3 of Cups. So, yours, mine, and ours, and the mission in the middle, and the 10 of Cups over here, 10 of Cups. So it's sort of like the sky is the limit in a way. 10 of Cups is the best, the most sort of happily ever after, the ultimate celebration and joy. So when we get released from this old system of there's only a right way and a wrong way, and a winner and a loser, and good and bad, that whole polarized thing that's been around for about 10,000 years, really. Well, that thing is just literally closed. Like it's been closing, but it's really gone down.
Yeah.
And the thing that's being born is that beautiful celebratory shared experience, yours, mine, and ours, that energy of the three, as Norma was pointing out. And it can potentially lead us in the direction of feeling so much ecstatic joy that it's like bliss. It's like bliss. It's the opposite of where we've been. This is like torture, and this is like bliss.
Beautiful. Well, it's a cycle, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, really well explained. I love that explanation of the eclipses, right? It's a good visual one. I like it a lot, actually. Yeah, that really resonates. And I'm sure everyone else is saying the same thing too. So we've got this this is not ending anytime soon. So the more you surrender, accept, and allow, the easier this will go. So look at it this way. When you first started riding a bike, right? I had scrapes, I had falls. And then as you got better at it, now you're just like, oh yeah, that's old hat. I can ride a bike, right? So you can really choose to surrender to this process and go, all right, I'm mastering this. I'm mastering moving through these energies. And by doing that and accepting that, you're going to find it's like a muscle that you're exercising, that it gets stronger and it gets easier. And the more you let go of the control over it, the easier it's going to get. Yeah. And so Arlene was sharing there, and she's in one of our groups. I've noticed that my body has been handling pain by meditating throughout the day, listening to solfeggio frequencies, tongue twister today, or meditating, imagining the white light coming through the crown chakra and covering me slowly all through the body and into the ground at various times that Tanya has shown us. I stay away from electronics, and I just try to focus on things that relax me. And I do feel that I'm healing when I activate my hands and place them where it hurts. So we've been teaching everyone to just rub their hands and activate, and then breathe love into wherever it's sore on you to help. Yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah. And you will feel bliss. But remember, one cannot stay in bliss full time in this realm. You will go up and down with it. And it's to enjoy that so that you remember how dark you were, how far you've come, and you have that appreciation and gratitude for how far you've come. Please don't forget that. You're all doing amazing. Amazing. We're not immune to this. We just have the tools in the tool belt that we've been through some of this, that we know how to respond versus react to it.
Yes.
Yeah. Right.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah. I'm so excited. This is such a beautiful show. I love hanging out with you too. Yeah. Yeah. The lunar eclipse currently right now, Andrea, is right now. And then the solar eclipse is on April 8th with the new moon, which is like a double entendre. So not only opening and closing, but we also get to start anew. So that one to me is really poignant. That's a strong one. And no matter what's been, I want to say, spewed out there verbally from other sources, I just go, let's just go with the flow and see what happens. Attach anything to it. I just allow it to be. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, that's the great thing about the threes. You know, as soon as you get them in the harmonious play, you begin to understand that you're not just creating a circle, because it has to be in motion. That's the reason why there's up and down, and then there's the in and the out. And so it's like, when I look at this, and I understand why the three is so significant to me, is because being born on a 12th day, the 1 and the 2 together forms a 3, and that's my psychic number in etiology. And that's the reason why that these 3, 6, 9s, just threes themselves, is very significant for me, because it helps me to understand that to go through this, we must understand that we are the all. We are here, and we are in this time and space creating, no matter what that is, no matter where you're at, no matter your frequency or your vibratory state. As long as you sit with self, you come with that, you come with that clarity, which forms that clarity that helps you to understand more that there's so much more to you than you are giving yourself credit for. That you must remember that you are the love here that is creating this place where being able to know intangible and manifest what you are, who you are in these varying levels of, the esoteric, the exoteric, as above, so below, as within, so without. As soon as you get that harmony going, it becomes an ebb and flow. And you keep that balance within these two hemispheres, which work with one another, which meets in the middle, where whenever you have a thought, the other one is going, your wish is my command. Let's go.
Beautiful. Any last words, Ashala? Norma, that was a perfect wrap up.
My last word is to touch back in on the reality of choices and decision making, and that Libran balance of good, bad, right, wrong, and that in this great reset of the eclipse season and the timing around this, and how I was seeing that we're going through this transformation of our identity and our values and our motivations. You're talking about core values, and that it's okay for there to be a pause of unknown. It's okay for it to be like that. We don't have to, if we're not making decisions from the same place as we used to, and we haven't quite reached the first steps. It's like we're in that gateway of the world, and it's okay for it to just be this pause moment of, not anxiety, not fear of uncertainty, holding space for the possibility of approaching life in a new way, and that where our decisions are going to be made from is probably going to be a lot more natural and gracious and less rigid, less, logic oriented, more heart centered. And to me, that's what we're holding over this next 2-week period, is that spaciousness of, it's okay if you don't know the answer, you don't know which path to take or what direction to choose, or this, that, right, wrong, left, right. Stay in it and just stay in that, comforting yourself, and watch, observe, as Tanya was saying, what starts to emerge.
Yeah, beautifully put. Thank you. To connect with Ashala, her website's down below. She is on YouTube and she is on Rumble as well. And we're just so grateful that you're here. We look forward to seeing you at 11 a.m. on April 8th, PBT. Mark it in your calendars now so you don't miss out. And Ashala, we have some news. Ashala is joining us at Vedette Lake. And Vedette Lake is that energy vortex. You guys have heard me talk about it forever. It's in the interior of BC. If you are meant to be there, this speaks to you, because you're going to have an opportunity to hang out, not just with the three of us. David Pills will be there. Lanny will be there, and a few other key people. So this is quite an elevated group coming in, so to speak. So those that are ready for some a full weekend of observation and learning and absorbing great information, this is going to be quite profound. Not once have I been where it's been the same twice. It has always been exactly what is needed, not just for us, but also for the group there. And we'll have a sweat lodge going on. David will be hosting that. We'll be up at the vortex, and you'll get to feel that. And the land is just healing. It really, really is. It really wants to help humanity. And so we're really looking forward to that. It's April 18th, 19th, 20th, 21st, and we leave on the 22nd. So if you can't make it quite that full time, we can do something custom for you. But do reach out to myself or Norma, and we'll get you hooked up. So yeah, it's going to be really fun. It's the first time we get to meet in person.
Yes.
Yeah. Which is, it's profound in itself. So, and yeah, the collaboration is always beautiful there. The food's amazing. I think that the only downside is, you know, we might be fighting a few mosquitoes. That's about it. But we got stuff for that as well. So yeah. So absolutely. Thank you, Ashala. Really appreciate you.
Thank you both.
Yeah, we appreciate all of you watching, listening. Please remember to like, comment after the video. It helps with the algorithms. And share. If somebody needs this message, please share. We appreciate it. And we wish you all a really, really beautiful day, and happy flowing. Happy going with the flow.